2NURFM's Health and Wellbeing for our sponsor Mullen Natural Health Centre, Hamilton.
At 12:12, good afternoon to you, Mr. Peter Mullen. How are you, my friend?
Well, thank you, Colin.
That's
You
all
know,
right.
you and I have got the same shirt on, Nelly.
Do we?
We are men of taste
Oh, we are. I don't even know why.
in our lunchtime.
Today we're going to get to know a little bit about gut bugs.
Yeah, look, it's one of the biggest growing areas in natural medicine research is looking at like our gut bugs and how they impact upon our health. And for a long time it was thought that they were just doing their thing, helping to ferment fibres and produce some vitamins. But it's becoming more and more realised how far-reaching their influence actually is.
Alan from Dora Creek, afternoon to you. You've got a question for Pete regarding gut bugs.
Yeah, Pete, I'm just wondering, is it possible to suddenly start getting getting sick from full cream milk?
Yeah, look, definitely. And there could be a number of reasons why that would be the case. Number one, the fat's starting to affect you more. There could be some issues from a gallbladder point of view. Number two, you could be developing lactose intolerance because you're not producing enough lactase, an enzyme in the gut to break the lactose down. And number three, you can be developing a food intolerance to the proteins in milk as well. So, yeah, it's a lot of patients will say that to me, it can't be my food because I've always eaten that way. However, it's often those foods we eat regularly over a period of time are the ones we often come unstuck with. So I'd definitely do some further investigation with that, Alan.
Yeah, I don't have a gallbladder, that's gone.
Okay.
But I seem to be okay with A2.
Yes.
Is that a myth, or is that...
No, definitely. You may be less reactive to the proteins in the A2 as what you are in the other milk.
Right. It's the full cream milk is suddenly... I'm just about to turn 60, but it's suddenly starting to make me quite sick in the morning.
Yeah, okay. Well, looks like you'll have to change over to the A2, but it's definitely, it may well be a food intolerance.
Okay.
Today, Pete, of course, we're talking about gut bugs, and this is a pretty interesting topic. We think about, good versus bad bugs, and the fact is that there are some good bugs that we do need in our stomach, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There's over up to 1,000 different species can live in our gut of bacteria, and we call them probiotics, meaning good bacteria, as opposed to antibiotics, which, kill off bacteria.
Yeah.
So over 1,000 different species potentially, up to 3 kilo or 10 trillion bacteria can actually live in our gut. And, from a health point of view, they've been linked to, obviously gut issues, irritable bowel, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease. But more than that, gut bugs have now been linked to conditions like eczema, asthma, learning and behavioural challenges. Us naturopaths call the gut the second brain. So we even produce serotonin in our gut, which... can affect things like depression and anxiety. So gut health and the balance of bugs is really, really important. Now, what happens when the good bugs get overloaded, by things in our diet, or taking things like antibiotics or certain medication, it's when we often get an overgrowth of the bad bugs, and we call it dysbiosis, which means an imbalance of good and bad bacteria. That's when we start to get a lot of gut and health related issues.
Interesting how that all shapes together, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is, and this is where food allergies and food intolerances start to surface. As I was saying to Alan, it's unfortunately with food intolerances, it's the foods we often eat over a regular long-term basis are the foods we often then start to become reactive to. And then it's these immune reactions then where our immune system gets involved, and that's what then can flow on to things like, eczema and asthma and even obesity. Obesity's been linked to the wrong type of bacteria in the gut. Autism, they've found with certain subsets of autism that it's linked to lesser variety of gut bugs. So as I was saying, there's a massive big area of research, but more and more, we're finding out that these gut bugs, the balance of the gut bugs is what's important.
Pete, we see all ads on TV saying you should take, probiotics, etc. What are some of the health benefits of taking probiotics?
Well, actually, it's just interesting. Alan, our caller a moment ago, was asking about can you become more reactive to a food like milk. Now, an interesting thing, and I didn't mention this to Alan, is that one of the benefits of him taking a daily probiotic, particularly if it's been fermented or grown on dairy products, hopefully where the probiotic's eaten all the bad stuff in the culture it was grown in, that actually taking a small amount of a probiotic that's been based on dairy may actually help him to have better tolerance to milk. So he may find, I'd definitely swap onto the A2 if that's agreeing with him better, but he might find taking a probiotic actually gives him better leeway. So probiotics act as a shield to protect the gut. And, you know, interestingly, we used to think that when you took a probiotic that actually re-inoculated your gut wall, but we know now that's not true. And what happens instead is that probiotics encourage they improve the environment in the large bowel. They encourage the growth of your own healthy bacteria, but the benefit actually stops 9 days after taking the probiotic. So I sort of, you know, for a lot of my clients that have had long-term gut issues, I'd recommend getting them onto a good quality probiotic and keeping them on it for a long-term period with occasional changes to different strains and different products, because you sort of want to be taking a bit of a wider view and re-inoculating the gut. So the positive benefits, as we said, you can reduce your intolerance to certain foods. Certain probiotics help to heal and repair the gut. You know, oftentimes when there's food intolerance or leaky gut, you want a probiotic that's going to increase what's called secretory IgA, and that's actually an immune complex that really helps to heal and repair the gut. So it helps with digestive disturbances, irritable bowel syndrome. I'd always have someone on a probiotic. Interestingly, with kids, you know, kids that are getting recurring colds and flus, probiotics, as well as echinacea, probiotics, the other thing that I recommend with kids to take over the winter months as a way of boosting their immune system, because of the fact that, you know, 60 to 70% of your immune system is based in the lining of your gut wall. So taking a probiotic helps with colds and flu for kids and adults. If someone comes in and they've got eczema, you know, I'll always get them onto a probiotic. Even hay fever, if someone's got peanut allergies or food allergies, we'll always, because again, it's this connection back with the gut. And also, if anyone's taken antibiotics or taking antibiotics, you know, in the old days we used to say, don't take antibiotics at the same time as your probiotic. But now I would say to take your antibiotics at the same time, your probiotics at the same time, but just take it 2 hours away from the antibiotic.
There are about 10 billion bacteria living in your gut right now, I was just reading, which is very interesting when you think about... Really? Wow. You know, because it not all of it is good. And I suppose the survival depends on how we keep them healthy and happy, so to speak. Coming up next, we'll talk about how I suppose we personalise your bugs to make sure you are living a healthy and happy lifestyle.
They're the right bugs for you, Colin.
Now, I was just saying before, there's 10 billion bacteria living in your gut right now, which is an incredible number.
That's a lot.
I mean,
isn't it really?
My word, it's a lot.
Well, there's more bugs in our gut than there are cells in the rest of our body. That's interesting, isn't it? So the major genetic material that we have in us is actually in our gut bugs. Yeah.
Now, we're not all the same, obviously. Different bugs behave differently in the body, I suppose, to everyone's body. Is that right? I mean, everyone's case is personalised, so to speak.
Absolutely. And what the challenge seems to be is that the bugs we're born with are the bugs we're stuck with. So, which is kind of a little bit scary when we're thinking about kids' health, but hopefully there's ways we can change that balance. But the area of research that's growing is the different strains and what effects they have. So, for example, one of the most common or one of the earliest research bacterial strains was called Lactobacillus acidophilus and also the Bifidobacterium lactis. So these together have been shown in studies to reduce the frequency and duration of colds, upper respiratory tract infections in kids, significant lowering symptoms of fever, cough and a runny nose. So that's interesting, isn't it? So again, treating the gut bugs to help have a better respiratory response.
Especially coming into winter.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was saying, like for kids particularly, but even adults that get colds and flu a lot, I now recommend a probiotic as part of helping to keep their immune system healthy and more balanced through winter. Another strain, L. plantarum, this is one of my favourite ones, and it reduces the frequency and severity of abdominal pain. So it's been shown to be very effective in helping people with IBS, and I've had some great results. One lady, one of my clients that I've known for a long, long time, when she first came to see me, she was getting just chronic diarrhoea all the time. And this product, this strain of bacteria particularly, has given her so much better management now that she doesn't even think about when she's going out, is there going to be a toilet nearby? So it's really made a massive difference in her life. LGG, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, is another one of my favourite gut bugs, and this one particularly has been shown to be beneficial for kids or adults that suffer allergies and also conditions like eczema. So when someone comes into me with eczema, I always think, right, what's the right probiotic for this person? Because again, we think of eczema as a skin condition, but it's really an immune condition. And a lot of that driving for that immune response on the skin is often associated with the gut.
Okay, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. And, you know, of course, when we talk about healthy gut bugs, we can talk about probiotics and the influence they have on a healthy gut flora, but the most important thing when you think about your good bacteria is, what do we feed those good bacteria? And this is why diet, again, is so important, or the cornerstone of what we always, you know, carry on about with our patients, is that our food, as well as providing energy and nutrients for us, also provides the fuel for these good bacteria. Now, certain of these good bacteria help to prevent bowel cancer. They help to produce certain vitamins. They help to keep the immune system healthy. So this is where the concept of what are called prebiotics came from. So prebiotics are foods and products that supply the food to feed these good bacteria, because you want a healthy, robust... Think of it this way, like our large bowel's kind of like a compost heap. Did your dad have a compost heap when you were a kid? You know, we always put the grass cuttings in there. So it's the reason that grass breaks down is because bacteria digest those indigestible fibres and makes, you know, food for the worms, basically. Well, it's kind of the same in the gut. So prebiotic foods are your good fibres. Brown rice, carrots are a good source of prebiotic foods. Green tea, interestingly, almonds, your fermented foods. And actually we're doing a free gut talk tonight, which amazingly has sold out or booked out 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So we've got an awesome response. We've got probably over 120 people coming tonight to our gut health talk, and we're actually going to be doing a fermenting demo.
Okay.
So it's been so successful, we'll probably do another free talk in a month or so for anyone else that's keen to come. But fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, organic miso, coconut yogurt. And one of the things I'll be talking about tonight, and one of my favourite prebiotic foods, is apple cider vinegar. So incorporating these sorts of things into your diet, you know, as well as encouraging the healthy environment for the good bacteria, provides the fuel for your good bacteria. All
right, well, thank you very much. I hope you have a nice night, and that sounds very interesting. Of course, unfortunately, it's all sold out, but you said you'll have another one in a month or so. Now, I'm pretty much over the 6-week challenge. We didn't get to catch up last night, but I've joined boot camp while we've been away.
Colin, I am so impressed with that. You know, when we first started, we said that the whole point of the 6 weeks is, think of it as a reset program. You know, resetting the way you're eating, resetting the way you're thinking, resetting the way you're exercising. And so I'm so impressed that you've joined a boot camp.
Well, you did have to wheel me in a wheelchair. Very sore. I haven't used a lot of those muscles, but I'll keep going, and we'll do an update each week. Thank you very much. You're away next week. You're on a fishing trip. I thought we were mates, but that's okay. Carly will be in. I'd prefer to look at Carly anyway, so that's fine.
Thank you. And I am away on a fishing trip, and hopefully I'll tell you all about that when I come back.
We won't be interested, I'm sorry.
Carly, I might get some calls about my fishing trip.
I don't think so. They won't be going to air, thank you. No, Carly will be in next week. We look forward to that. Be good over Easter, and we'll talk to you then.